Welcome back to Pandora. We are all so excited. The movie's amazing. First, just give me some perspective. Does it feel like 13 years? Does it feel like 13 days? Like when you look back to the beginning?
I think it feels like both. Sometimes, you know, when we have to do all these exercises and get back onto riding the Banshee and grabbing that bow, it feels like it had been a long time. But then when you're surrounded by people that you have grown to love and respect and look up to so much, and to see where they are in their lives, it feels like it was just yesterday that you were with them, you know?
Yeah. These take time. By the time we get to Avatar 6 and 7, are you in for the long haul? Like, could you see yourself coming back for more?
If they're always gonna be this special, take all the time you need.
Yeah. It was a joy to be on that journey the first time, and it's great to see you guys and to see Jim and the whole company deliver yet again.
Thanks, Josh. It's very kind.
When you look back, what did the original experience do for you? How did it change your lives?
You know, I'm gonna get super cheesy, but it just taught me to dream. You know, it was unimaginable what we were experiencing. The reception of the movie was sort of like the icing on a cake, booking it.
Right. Being
seen by James Cameron was, I feel like, the biggest opportunity of a lifetime. And feeling that I can contribute all of my ideas and all that energy to a pot that was making something super special for everybody to share. It was kind of, you know, it doesn't happen every day.
Is there a learning curve when you finally get back on set after all this talk for years? The technology has evolved, but it still is what it is. Do you have to relearn any of the skills that you picked up the first time around?
Oh my God, yeah, you have to refresh dust off all those cobwebs and get back into it.
And we're going underwater, so that was, in itself, we knew the risk.
Did you know what you were getting into? Did you know how serious and how scary and how just intense that was?
Jim said about 2013 he talked to us about the story. So we've been attached and talking with him since then. That's a long time. It wasn't like he took a holiday. And but at 2013 he said he took up the hobby of freediving. And so I kind of, knowing Jim as I do, I kind of went, well, I think he's going to incorporate it somehow.
Oh, yeah.
2015 we saw all the pictures of the story, and then 2017 it's like, well, how are we going to do those pictures? So by then we kind of knew what we were doing, and by the time he explained the technique, I think I was already cannonballing into the pool, because to me that was exciting.
That's Sam.
Yeah.
I took my time. I was more like, I took like some seconds, like,
maybe Jim think this
sorry,
over. Are you really going to do that?
Yeah. Can you repeat that again in Spanish, Jim?
I was already under the water.
Ready when you are, Jim. How do you, I mean, this is a very basic question, but how do you do it? Like, how do you act underwater for sustained periods of time without having a panic attack?
You're getting more oxygen into your bloodstream. It's not necessarily just holding your breath.
Right.
You have pumped more oxygen into your system than we normally would get. So you have more reserves. Then it's the process of calming your mind and calming your heart rate, because even thinking can burn that oxygen.
Absolutely.
So when you move it, you're burning it at double the rate.
Yeah.
So it's all about being calm. So when you've done your breathe up, as they call it, and you descend before the scene, you're trying to remain as still and as calm as you can. And then when you hear Jim under the water call, okay, ready, and action, you've got no scuba anyway, so you just start the scene. But the back of your mind, you know that you're depleting your resources, but you're staying in the scene. So the best way that I can describe it is you have to forget that you're underwater, which sounds crazy, but these scenes are hard enough to do for most actors on dry land.
Right.
You've got no oxygen, we're 30 feet deep. Yeah. All you have is your other actor. So you just try to pin in with them.
And you just surrender.
Trust that your technique is gonna kick in and be calm, and your head isn't gonna wig out. And when you do wig out, which you do every now and then, which is natural, the other actor can pull you back into the fold.
Absolutely. And Jim tells you, I only need one take.
Right.
So you don't have to get it right.
I never got that.
I
never got one.
Sam, I only need 5
I think
takes.
he would see it in my eyes.
I got a lot.
Or maybe he would see my pulse, like on my neck. Like, I only need one take, so just take your time. And then you would come up, like, let's say as you're going down, it was not, the right preparation immediately. Everybody comes back up, and you do your breathing, and everybody's calming you down. You are also surrounded by world-renowned freedivers. Right. There are swimmers there, there are medics there in case anything happens. Like, Jim is just not gonna shoot this in his pool and tell you, trust me, it's gonna be all right.
I think it'll be all right.
Everything in your surrounding is indicative that you are safe. You just have to let go.
Deep back in your mind, you know you're doing something trailblazing.
Yes.
No one's ever tried before.
So that's exciting.
So, yes.
So when you're in the middle of the scene and you pull it off, we're doing
literally
this.
No one has ever done what I just did, basically.
Well, it's working, yeah. And no one's been trying it, no one's crazy enough to attempt it, and that's exciting.
world-class freedivers, including Kate Winslet, apparently.
Oh
Who knew?
my God.
So for
Like a
context,
fish.
Kate supposedly was able to hold her breath for 7 minutes.
That was amazing. It was just like,
Does that like circulate around set? You're like, Kate just did 7 minutes?
Sig did, well, everyone was from Sig to
did
A and
6
H roll.
something. I did 5 something, and
I did whatever the
Kate
boss said.
You're like, I did 20 seconds. Are we good?
There was no time limit. It was like, stay down there, Sherm. Do another one.
Don't turn blue. Don't turn blue.
Ironic, given the context, but yes. Another fascinating aspect, like when people see this movie, they're going to understand. Like, yes, we talk about the water and the bells and whistles. All James Cameron movies are emotional. They are emotional journeys. You cry basically to every James Cameron movie, and people will cry at this one. And this is a story about a family, and it's a beautiful story. You two have families now. You did not have families when you made the original Avatar. Really good method acting for both of you. Well done. Does that make this story all the more resonant, given where you are in your lives now versus then?
I mean, I do remember, if I can speak, on your behalf as well, we felt vulnerable. Our lives as parents were beginning, and almost simultaneously. He has 3 boys, I have 3 boys, and we were spending time together with all of our families, and knowing that we were going to, as Jake and Neytiri, walk into unimaginable spaces in their lives as the Sullys, as a family, it made us quite vulnerable. So leaning into Jim and to each other and to Sigourney and any parent that had done it, light years before us, for references, for guidance, was very, and for solace too, was very inspiring.
And the emotion really comes through in these performances. They're really, it's beautiful as it was in the first film. And I'm curious, like over the years, do you spread the gospel of what performance capture is to other actors? You guys,
Yes.
Tell them not to be fearful of it.
Yeah.
To me, it's the future of makeup. Sigourney's playing a 14-year-old, and she's doing it convincingly because as an actor, she can tap into that spirit.
Yeah.
And the performance catcher allows us to see her authentically as a 14-year-old, and that's crazy. Yeah. When we do it, it actually releases what you do because you know that you're in safe hands. Nothing's getting animated. I know that when Zoe cries, that's her crying when we see it in blue. When Zoe's in pain, that's what I'm seeing. And when Zoe's kicking ass, that's her doing it. And that's amazing, because you want them to look after the integrity of what her performance is. And I think the technology's got to that point now where it's certainly doing it. And every nuance, every pore, every tear is truth. And
Absolutely.
So it releases you as an actor.
Are there any actors, as a fan or a friend, that you would like to see give it a try? I'm still waiting.
I would think George Clooney. Why not? George Clooney should do like a performance capture, project.
He's got no vanity, that guy, which is great.
Exactly.
And that's what you do need to, when you're slipping into these really tight wetsuits. 13 years on, I had a little bit of vanity come back, to be honest. But yeah, you have to check it at the door on Avatar.
I'm still waiting for your Guardian buddy, who basically said to me, hinted that he would be in it, Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah.
Is Vin in any of these movies? What's going on with that?
I'll let Jim answer that question. But I've been close friends with Vin and his wife Paloma for many, many years. Performance capture was made for Vin. Like, Vin was made for this. He's the most imaginative, childlike actor I have ever sort of met, and I love his spirit. He constantly reminds me to forget about being mature and about being an adult and just play, like live in this space that you can imagine or reimagine yourself to be. I remember when we were shooting Avatar: Way of Water, he kept calling us and just asking me, what is it like? And when he went on set, he cried. He was just so excited to be there and to be with Jim.
We got to make it happen.
So you have to ask Jim if he was in it. I'm not going to answer that.
Okay, fair enough. Also, stuff you can't talk about is the future, which we know there's at least one more that's basically 90% done, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. And you even shot a little bit of 4. But Jim keeps talking, and it's like, the more he talks, there are more avatars.
Jim loves the world. He loves these characters. You got to understand, this movie hasn't come from a book, hasn't come from a comic book, hasn't come from an old franchise that we spun off from. It comes from Jim's imagination.
His dreams,
That's pretty amazing and unique.
Star Wars, when it came out in the 70s, was so nuanced, and it was unlike anything everybody had ever seen, and it was a world that came from George Lucas's imagination. It would have been awful for that to just been a one-off thing and you never return to space with George Lucas. Right. Jim owed it to all of us to take us back to Pandora. especially after the kind of impact that this project, this story had in the world, on us.
Yeah.
How could you not, you know?
So many of his iconic images in his films and his ideas, as you said, they're from his imagination and from his dreams, literally. He's talked about this, the Terminator, Pandora, etc.
What's he eating before bed?
Exactly.
I know.
He's eating the cheese under the sofa.
No, not anymore. He's plant-based.
That's right.
That's true. That's right.
This soy protein is amazing, guys.
This is a great advertisement for turn vegan. Yeah, isn't it?
Have you ever had a Avatar-related dream? Like, have you ever been to Pandora in your dreams?
Yes, I remember when I booked the movie and I was going through all the training and he was showing me all the reference pictures and videos that they were making just so we can have as a reference. I was having these vivid dreams and I wished I would have had the discipline back then to write them down, just like Jim does, because that's how he's able to manifest these into great stories, that he wakes up and he actually has the discipline to write his dreams down.
Yeah.
But I do remember they were vivid.
You just woke up like this.
I know, but I remember I was like always in a daze, you know? Like, what was that?
So much was quoted in pop culture from Avatar. I don't know how often you've been quoted in unlikely circumstances, I see you, etc. That can't feel like a good thing to hear in the bathroom, for instance. Has that ever happened, by the way?
Not in the bathroom.
Good rule of thumb. You see Sam and Zoe, no, I see you in the bathroom.
No, I see you. But, you know, yesterday we were asked what other phrases of Jim's movies do we remember? We remember so many. I'll never let go.
Yes.
You know?
I'll be back.
I'll be back. That is such an iconic one.
We can say now you sing in the movie.
Yes.
How did it happen?
They had painted it to me like it was just going to be this little nursery rhyme, and at first it was just a hum. You're just going to be humming, and I'm like, okay. And then 2 months later, well, you got time, don't worry. 2 months later, it's like, Z, it's going to be just like, you know, one little phrase. So just make sure you work with the dialect, and absolutely. Zoe, we have the song. Here's a reference, and I'm like, dude, it's a whole flesh, like, freaking, like, 2.5 minute song. And they're like, isn't it amazing?
Wait, is Avatar 3 a full-on musical? Is this the entry point?
No, please do not mention that. I do not give him any ideas. But I remember, like, Jim is always that solid kind of calming person that kind of goes, look at me, you got this. We're gonna make it as easy as possible. But the secret sauce is that the day that we were supposed to shoot it, it's just a conversation about where Neytiri is.
Right.
In her headspace, in her heart, what has happened, what is going to happen, and that's all. And then he just walks away, lights are all arranged, and he says action, and this just comes out. So I love that he respects what we do as actors enough to understand that he has to put us in the moment. And in order for us to just remove any kind of external or inner thoughts that sabotage, you know, what we do, so that we can just be.
Right.
And I love working with someone like that.
And Sam's going to be singing in the next one. He's very excited.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Okay. It'll be a duo, Sonny and Cher.
Zoe, am I going to cry as much in Guardians 3 as I cried in Avatar: Way of Water?
Not as much, but
Okay.
you will, you know, and you know, I'm going to switch from one James to the other. James Gunn is a great storyteller.
Yeah.
And he has a way of just capturing simple, complex themes. And in the way that he portrays it, it just goes straight to the heart, you know. And
Yeah.
Guardians 3 is a bittersweet journey that has reached its culmination, but it's going to be the best one yet.
Have you seen a cut yet, or are you?
We've seen like little scenes
Yeah.
here and there, and it looks amazing.
Amazing. I can't wait for the world to see this. This is going to be another phenomenon. It's deja vu in the best possible way, guys. Let's not let it be another 13 years. Where we
Please,
catch up.
it'll be bad for us.